Most collectors think a limited edition air rifle is just a nameplate and a fancy stock, a wall hanger, you baby, in a safe, and never actually shoot. They are wrong. Here is the deal. The 7 rifles on this list are not vanity projects. They are the test beds, the proving grounds where manufacturers throw their wildest engineering at the wall before it ever reaches a production line. Titanium air cylinders, monocoque frames machined from a single billet, barrel tensioning systems ripped straight off bench rest world record rigs. Every trick that ends up in next year's flagship started right here, in a run of a few hundred guns, or less. Honestly, most guys never even see these in person. Some never leave the collector circuit, but we are breaking down all 7. The engineering, the guts, the story behind why each one exists. And by the time we hit number 1, you are going to understand exactly why a serial numbered air rifle can command 4 figures before it ever sends a pellet downrange. Let's get into it. Rank 7, the BSA Ultra CLX 160 Anniversary Edition. Look, this is where the list starts, and it earns its spot on pure engineering alone. Only 160 rifles per caliber, a number BSA picked on purpose. 1854 to 1861, that is when a group of Birmingham gunsmiths banded together and built what became BSA. This gun is a monument to that math. Under the hood is something BSA had never done before. They call it the monoblock. Instead of bolting together a dozen separate parts for the action and the air pathways, they machine the whole cluster from one single piece of billet metal. Here is why that matters. Fewer seams means fewer O-rings. Fewer O-rings means fewer places for pressure to bleed off between shots. That single change alone bumped shot count by 50% over the older Ultra platform. We are talking 60 clean shots per fill in 177. 72 and 22. They also ditched the old bolt action for a side lever. Smoother, faster, less arm movement between shots when you are tracking a moving target. Now the deal breaker. This run was built strictly for the UK market. If you are stateside and you want one, you are hunting eBay listings and paying a serious import tax on top of whatever some collector already marked it up. Cold hammer forged barrel, 12.5 inches, tucked into a black pepper laminate stock from Manelli. Whole package barely tips the scale past 5.5 pounds. Moving on, because number 6 trades the monoblock for something you have never seen on a modern air rifle, a pump handle. Rank 6, the Crosman 362 100-year Anniversary Edition. Here is the deal. This one is not PCP. No air tank, no fill probe, no charging station. Just you, a pump handle, and pure old American ingenuity. 1923. A guy named William McLean brings a rifle prototype into a seed company office in Rochester, New York. That seed company becomes Crosman. 100 years later, Velocity Outdoor drops exactly 2,023 of these, each one serial numbered. Each one stamped Made in America. The mechanic's insight here is simple but brilliant. Multi-pump pneumatic. Every stroke of that pump handle compresses more air into a single reservoir before the shot. Want a quiet backyard plink? 2 or 3 pumps. Want to stretch it out on a pest at range? Pump it up toward the max, and you are pushing 22 caliber pellets out at 850 feet per second. 13 foot-pounds of honest energy. For the anniversary run, Crosman swapped the factory plastic breech for solid steel. That kills the flex that used to throw your zero off after a few hundred rounds. Now the deal breaker, and this rotates categories, because it is pure ergonomics. Multi-pump guns work your shoulder and forearm. 15 minutes of steady pumping between shots gets old fast if you are doing a high-volume pest control session. Turkish walnut furniture, brass bolt handle, a Williams peep sight instead of a scope rail. This rifle wants you shooting instinctively. Old school, no glass required. Stepping up the power now, number 5 brings the regulator back into the conversation, German style. Rank 5. The Weihrauch HW100T 1899 Series 125 Anniversary Edition. Now, when guys talk about German engineering in the airgun world, this is the name that ends every argument. Weihrauch, founded 1899 in a little town called Zella St. Blasi, 125 years of building rifles that flat out refuse to break. Only 300 of these exist, worldwide. Here is the mechanic's insight. This rifle runs an internal regulator, factory set right around 110 bar. Think of a regulator like a pressure gate. As your air bottle empties from 200 bar down towards 0, that gate keeps chopping the output down to one exact number, shot after shot. No velocity spread. No guessing where your pellet lands on shot number 20 versus shot number 2. Feed comes off a 14-round metal rotary magazine, not the cheap polymer stuff some competitors lean on. Cycled by a side lever action that runs smooth as a biathlon rifle, because honestly, that is exactly the lineage it is pulling from. The trigger is the match record, 2-stage, crisp break, the kind of let-off that lets you call your shot before the pellet even leaves the shroud. Now the deal breaker, and we are rotating categories again. This time it is pure aesthetics and build choice. That red and black laminate thumbhole stock is a love it or hate it design. Some guys want understated black synthetic for hunting. This one draws attention, whether you want it to or not. This is a serious rig, gentlemen. A tack driver in every sense. But wait until you see what is waiting at number 1. Because it did not just win a competition. It set a world record that still stands today. Rank 4. The FX Impact M4 Micro Limited Edition. Before we get into this one, I know the traditional firearm guys watching this are shaking their heads right now. A $2,500 air rifle. Sound off below if you think that price tag is insane. Because after you hear what is packed into this thing, you might change your mind. FX out of Sweden built their name on tearing up the rulebook, and the Impact platform is ground zero for that reputation. Now shrink it down. 650 millimeters overall, 5.5 pounds, and they call it the Micro for a reason. Here is the mechanic's insight. This rifle keeps the full-size power plenum from the standard Impact, paired with an externally adjustable AMP Mark II regulator. That means you can tune your power curve for heavy slugs or light pellets without ever popping the action open. Just turn a dial. Bottle is carbon fiber wrapped, 480 cc's, filled to 250 bar. On paper that sounds small for the power on tap, but the shot count still runs up toward 375 clean shots in 177. Barrel tech is the real secret though. FX calls it Smooth Twist X. Instead of cutting rifling into the bore, they press it into a thin steel liner from the outside. Less friction on the pellet skirt, and you can swap liners to match different twist rates for different projectiles. Now the deal breaker, financial, straight up. Only 150 units exist in the copper finish. Good luck finding one at retail. Secondary market pricing on this thing is where wallets go to die. Entering the elite tier now, because number 3 brings 4 decades of British heritage into a single serial numbered rifle. Rank 3. The AirArms Chimera 40th Anniversary Edition. Under the shroud, this rifle is basically a family reunion. AirArms took 40 years of their best platforms and welded the highlights into one gun. The action block wears the shape of the legendary Series 100. The loading bolt borrows its silhouette from the Shamal, the rifle that put AirArms on the PCP map back in the day. Only difference, this one is machined from solid titanium instead of steel. Here is the mechanic's insight. That valve system is lifted straight from the S510R and XS, fully regulated, meaning your velocity spread from shot 1 to shot 30 barely moves. Add in a titanium air cylinder pulled from their field target flagship, the XTI-50, and you get a rifle that carries its weight low and back, right toward the trigger hand, instead of nose-heavy like most sporters. Pull the trigger, and you get a break that snaps clean, almost surgical, like a bolt sliding home on a well-oiled door hinge. No hesitation, no mush. Now the deal breaker. Rotating categories again. This one is air and performance related. That fully shrouded moderator built on the Q-Tech baffle system is whisper quiet, but it comes at a cost. Extended shot strings can build up condensation inside the shroud in cold weather, and some owners report a slight velocity dip until it clears. Only 400 of these exist worldwide, each one boxed in a custom-fitted Negrini hard case with a commemorative badge. Closer to the crown now, because number 2 is where Daystate pays tribute to the rifle that started their entire company. Rank 2. The Daystate Genus 40th Anniversary Edition. Entering the elite tier, and this rifle carries some serious weight on its shoulders. Daystate is the company that basically invented the modern PCP rifle back in the late 1970s. The Genus is their love letter to that history, a direct tribute to the original 1978 Huntsman. Only 200 of these were ever built. Highly engineered and quietly brilliant, this rifle runs a mechanism Daystate patented called the Harper Slingshot Hammer System. Here is how it actually works. Instead of a standard hammer smacking the valve once and bouncing back for a second smaller hit, the Harper system uses a captured spring and a free-flying hammer that strikes clean and stays put. No bounce means no wasted air venting out after the pellet already left the barrel. Paired with that is a Huma air regulator, a third-party tuning component so respected that Daystate builds it into the gun straight from the factory. Whatever pressure is left in that 132cc bottle, every shot gets the exact same regulated charge. Dead consistent, fill after fill. Depending on caliber and market, this rifle scales from a tame sub-12 foot-pound backyard setup all the way up to 40 foot-pounds for export configurations. That is a massive spread of usable power out of one action. Now the deal breaker, ergonomics this time. That laminate stock, gorgeous as it is, runs on the heavier side compared to the walnut sporters Daystate normally builds. Not a rifle you want slung over your shoulder on a 6-hour Alaska hike. This is a serious contender for the throne. But number 1 did something no other rifle on this list can claim. It set an actual world record. Rank 1. The BRK Ghost World Record Limited Edition. Let's be real. Every rifle on this list is a serious piece of engineering, but only one of them has an actual world record attached to its name. 2023, Plzeň, Czech Republic. A shooter named Fady Kiwan takes a BRK Ghost and walks away with 2 world championships and a record score that still stands in rimfire and air rifle bench rest competition. And here is the wild part. He did it switching calibers on the same rifle, mid-tournament, because the Ghost platform lets you swap barrels in minutes. Only 250 of these world record editions exist worldwide. Under that gray monocoque frame, machined from a single billet of aircraft-grade alloy, sits the Ultra Alpha valve, a balanced stainless steel system working in tandem with a Huma air regulator. Same regulator tech we saw on the Daystate Genus at number 2, except here it pairs with a 20-click power wheel that lets you dial hammer spring tension on the fly, no tools required. But the real crown jewel feature is the ART barrel tensioning system. A carbon fiber or alloy sleeve wraps the steel barrel liner and pulls it under constant tension. That kills barrel whip, the microscopic vibration every barrel produces on firing before it ever has a chance to throw a shot off target. Compare that to number 4, the FX Impact M4 Micro. That rifle gives you serious compact power and tunability, but it does not touch barrel harmonics the way the Ghost does. And compare it to number 6, the Crosman 362. Pure old-school mechanical simplicity. No regulator, no tensioning, just muscle and a pump handle. The Ghost gives you the shot-to-shot consistency of a fully regulated system, the raw power to push 30 caliber slugs at 99 foot-pounds in high-power trim, and a barrel that stays dead calm under pressure, that most competition rigs can only dream about. That is why it takes the throne. That wraps up our countdown of the 7 most exclusive limited edition PCP air rifles ever built. From a pump-action tribute stretching back a full century, to a world record holder that is still undefeated on the bench rest circuit, these 7 rifles prove that limited edition does not mean limited performance. Every one of them started as a proving ground, and chances are, whatever tech is sitting in that rifle in your safe right now traces back to something on this list. Watch your windage. I am out.